So this is probably the weirdest beef I've ever seen. But fuck it, it's still 10 times more interesting than covering Trippie Redd and 6ix9ine's love-hate relationship. So the average person probably don't know who either of these niggas are, but at some point Charles Hamilton was one of my favorite current rappers and was considered to be next up. And Forneworworld is one of the biggest channels on YouTube that covers anime related news. Trust me, if you've seen this nigga once, you recognize him. Now, why the fuck is this guy Forneworworld beefing with Charles Hamilton? It's just odd. But apparently Fornever is trying to start up his rap career. He signed to some producer named Jazz Feezy, who produced one song for Drake and a bunch of other records for T.I. that no one cared about. I mean, the rest of his discography compared to that one song he produced for Drake are hardly worth mentioning. And this song he did produce for Drake, which was Can't Have Everything off More Life, is probably the least memorable song on that album. But whatever, a deal's a deal, I guess. So in all this, he links up with Charles Hamilton to do some work, and apparently shit takes a left turn. Forneworworld goes on to make a lot of accusations to tweets in a 30-something minute video exposing footage of a weird convo with him and Charles, and claims he was trying to rob him. I mean, with the obscurity of the situation and how weird his convo with Charles was, topped off with Charles' past drug abuse, it's really easy to believe Forneworworld that Charles is a psychotic meth addict, but what if that's just not the case? I'm simply going to present Charles' side of the story that I obtained after DMing him. One of Fornever's points is that Charles tried to rob him because he asked him to bring equipment even though Charles already had a little setup. And because Charles kept saying he's about to make a come up. But according to Charles, he was simply referring to something completely else when he said he's finna make a come up. Which makes sense. I mean, who'd say they're trying to rob a nigga right in front so they can hear? What type of code is that, fam? And as far as equipment, Charles told me he wanted him to bring a portable setup because his was packed away and partially stolen. And that Fornever would keep the masters of any track they did, even if it was over his production. Which indeed does sound rather fair. Another huge point of what made Charles look crazy was the convo he was having with Fornever, where Forneworworld and his fiance pretty much took it as he was comparing Sega and Sonic to God and Jesus and thinks he's Sonic aka Jesus. I'll admit the convo was pretty weird and off, but whatever. When I asked Charles about it, he said that he was trying to explain pretty much how Sonic and Sega pretty much paved the way for Goku, who Fornever was referring to himself as. So Charles was trying to explain Sega so he have a better understanding of what he's trying to do as Goku. By the way, Charles, I don't know about that, fam. Didn't Sonic rip off DBZ? Correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know. He also told me he was clean and not off anything. Whether he is or isn't, I don't know. Do I think Charles is a bit off? Possibly. But do I believe he was trying to rob Forneworworld? No. Any real solid reason Fornever had to accuse Charles of attempted robbery could be explained away, as Charles or his so-called goons that Forneworworld said he had never pushed up on him, didn't stop them from leaving, or during their long-ass exchange stole anything. Fornever might claim this is because his fiancée was strapped, but why wouldn't these so-called goons who are a part of a robbery not also be strapped? You're telling me that these niggas make come-ups through robberies, but couldn't handle one guy and his wife? I don't know, man.